Good morning. It's Friday. Can you imagine already? I spent a very long time trying to figure out what message to share with you today. We've shared so many inspirational stories here together. We know the story of Seth Okran, who had to drop out of school to feed his 20 siblings when his parents died, but still turned his life around and became the multimillionaire owner of York's Investments. We know the story of Daniel Macaulay, who started off selling kerosene in Labadi and pulled himself up by his bootstraps to become the most successful Ghanaian shipping magnate of all time and king of the Magdan shipping empire. We've shared the stories of Esther Oklu, Nico Tejani, Patrick Ewa, Yasantua, Kwame Nkrumah, Jerry John Rawlings, and many others whose lives inspire us because of their resilience in the face of adversity. Resilience. That's the thought my mind finally settled on as I sat down to write this message. You see, I realized it's not enough to simply hear a story about how someone overcame obstacles to become successful. That is hardly enough to make you a success yourself. You can't exactly pass your own life's test using the past questions from someone else's life, can you? No, you need to have something deep within you that bears you through your own unique challenges. You need resilience. Resilience is defined as the ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape, the ability to bend and not break. Elasticity would be a good synonym. You know, the strongest objects are not rigid, they are flexible. They bend to carry the pressure, and in so doing, they do not break. When Seth Okran's parents died, he didn't say, "Oh, I'm a privileged student of Oga School, I don't deserve this," and then hang about waiting for someone to hand him what he felt entitled to. No, he bent with the pressure. In fact, he bent as low as becoming a trotro mate, just to make ends meet. And with time, his burdens stretched him more and more, but he did not break. Eventually, his resilience won the battle against his challenges. And today, Seth's empire is worth millions of dollars, employs thousands of Ghanaians, and continues to grow as we speak. My dear friend, the pressure on you is immense, I know. It's not just the pandemic pressure, which is hard enough. Customers evaporating, salaries dwindling, children losing their minds with these online classes. But when you add all the other pressures, the stress of work, the torture of relationships, the indiscipline of our fellow citizens, the threats to our personal safety, sometimes it can feel as if the weight of the world is on your neck. Sometimes it feels like far more than your spine was built to bear. Sometimes life's burdens threaten to break you into two. As a nation, we're in the same condition. The obstacles can feel insurmountable. Debt is making us modern slaves. Galamsey is poisoning our water. Rain is killing our citizens. We're drowning under tons of filth. Vigilante groups are holding our democracy to ransom. Ethnic conflict is ruining our peace. Corruption is infecting our institutions like a cancer, even the very institutions set up to fight corruption. It can get overwhelming sometimes. And I know many of you have said to yourselves more than once, "I give up. That's in no go be." And if you have, I understand. I know how you feel. You're at breaking point. You've had your fill. You're up to your limit. It feels like at any minute, our collective backs are going to snap like a blow-dried twig in the Hamatan wind. But this is when we must be elastic. This is when we must bend. Just flex your frustrated spine under the weight of your troubles. Bend, don't break. Don't let them see you bleed. Don't let the enemy win. Don't let your circumstances crack your resolve. You are made of far stronger material than you know. You are a man, a woman of steel, forged in the fire of adversity. And though you may bend, you will not break. Your challenges demand your flexibility, and make no mistake, this is not an impossible demand. Others have done it. From Nelson Mandela to Yasantua, from Seth Okran to Sir Sam Jonah, from Singapore to Sakumono, it has been proven time and time again that a bit of resilience is all that is needed to weather any storm and triumph over any adversity. How else would Rwanda, a country that just a few years ago was the very face of genocide, turn itself around and become the model nation for social development on our continent? All it took to change their narrative was a little bit of elasticity. It's Friday. Another tough week has ended. The challenges may have bent you, but they will not break you. You will come back, guns blazing on Monday morning, to tackle life's problems afresh. Because you are unstoppable. You are unbeatable. You are unbreakable. My name is Kojo Yankson, and what doesn't kill me makes me stronger.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the AM News with me, Mapisa CBD. Now, former Special Prosecutor Martin Amedu is fighting back what he says are attacks on his person following his resignation this week as Special Prosecutor. He's warning that the repercussion could be dire if what he describes as the mudslinging against his hard-won reputation does not stop, adding that even if it costs him his life, he will defend his integrity. Mr. Amedu says he feels pushed to speak and that his life is under attack.
All these threats about burgling me, armed robbery, burning my house, I'm aware. I tried to call Kandapa, he didn't pick it. And I got a former National Security Advisor to contact him and tell him. And I know the persons involved, I can name them. I reserve it for the meantime.
They are bagging your house.
I put my life on the Republic of Ghana, and the president will be responsible for anything that happens to me. I say burglary.
Okay.
They will rob me.
Okay.
They will burn my house. Look, I am telling you that the intelligence is there. And I called the Minister for National Security, he didn't pick it. But I got a former National Security Advisor to speak to him. And this fact is now known. And I'm saying that the President will be responsible for anything that happens to me.
Are you safe, sir?
What? I'm safe. I'm a Ghanaian. I don't fear anything. And as I said, to die in the cause of fighting corruption is what I started with President General Lawrence since 31st December 1981. And I'm not going to leave it because some people think that they can threaten me. I don't give a damn about that.
We wish you all the best, sir. And Ghanaians would be waiting to hear you respond to some of the issues that were raised by the presidency when you deem it
Well,
fit.
I have told you that if they don't stop, I will respond. As to what I will do, I will reserve that to myself. But as I said, whatever happens to me, I live my life on the Republic of Ghana, and the president has a constitutional duty to protect me. I don't need any security at my house or to follow me. And anybody who makes an attempt, he will have himself to blame.
Since you are a citizen vigilante, should members of the public who want to come and protect you do so?
My friend, people have called and want to even come and track loose from Boku and all that. And I've told them that these are all, what they are hearing they are not true. Because as a citizen of Ghana, I'm entitled to say my mind and defend the Constitution.
Meanwhile, the NDC is serving notice that it will hold President Akufo-Addo responsible should anything happen to Martin Amedu. Now, President Akufo-Addo has directed the Inspector General of Police, James Opombonu, to provide the former Special Prosecutor, Martin Amedu, with 24-hour police protection. There's increasing fear and skepticism among residents of Sandema and adjoining communities about the ability of police there to deal with crime amidst 347 electoral hotspots, as they also complain about armed robberies. Now, the Bulisa North District, where Sandema is the capital, has 23 of these flashpoints, the 6th highest in the region. This is where former Deputy Minister of Interior and Minority Spokesperson on Defense and Interior, James Algaga, will cast his ballot on December 7. Now, as part of the Join You series on security and hotspot communities ahead of the elections, Upper East Regional Correspondent Albert Sori visited Sandema and came through with this report.
The spate of armed robbery attacks here in Sandema have become a source of worry for many people in this town.
We can't even work after 7 because of the robbers. The little money you get, they will rob you.
These days, the armed robbery case here is very serious. And we as business women, we suffer. We can't travel. And anytime we are traveling and coming to Sandema, and it's around 5, we have to sleep in Bolga or Navrongo before. The next day, then we come.
Joseph Apawe a mobile money vendor here in Sandema, is one of the victims of armed robbery. On the 14th of August this year, while on the way home from work, 4 men armed with a gun attacked him and took away his money, his motorcycle, and other valuable items.
I closed from work around 6:30 and I was on my way going home. I was almost getting to the house and there were 4 armed robbers with a gun. So they just stopped me on the way and pointed the gun on me and told me to lie down. I lay down and they collected my bag with the money, removed all my phones, took my Honda motorbike and went away with it.
Less than a month later, Theophilus Isaka, also a mobile money vendor here in Sandema, was attacked in a similar manner.
On the 5th of last month, October, 5th October. It was around 9 going. I closed from work and I was going to the house. Then 2 guys came with a torchlight and a gun and a cutlass. They were fully masked and they were wearing overall jackets and then the trousers all were black. Then they asked me to lie down. I lie down and then one having the cutlass use it and hit on my head. Then it cuts me. Then the gunman told me I shouldn't worry. I should just give them the bag. Then I hand over the bag to them. They took all my phones on my pocket and then my wallet. And then they asked me to run. My bag, there was a cash sum of 3,008 and then 11 mobile phones inside the bag.
However, one armed robbery incident that has left many residents here in Sandema in shock was a broad daylight attack on the Church of Pentecost only 2 Sundays ago.
I think we had closed from service, and so most of the congregants had gone. But the one who counts the church's money was seated at this corner of the church. So I also came, and then whilst we were talking on the issue she wanted to discuss with me, 2 young men came into the church whilst we were talking. The top apparel they were wearing was black. So initially we thought that there were police officers who had come to make some inquiries about the protocols of the coronavirus. So the other one, who had a gun with him, cocked the gun, and then he asked us to lie flat on the floor. Then they took the monies that were on the table with a bowl. There was also a bowl that the offerings were inside. So they took the monies, they took everything, and then they came and searched us, took our mobile phones and our personal monies, and then they bolted off. When they came out of the church, then they gave warning shots. Then they shot in the air, I think twice, before they sped off. And we heard several gunshots as they went.
Not a single arrest has yet been made by the Sandema police, leaving the victims of these armed robbery attacks and even the general public wondering if the police here are up to the task of keeping the peace, especially as we draw closer to the elections.
What I'm thinking the government should do is they should beef up the security situation in Sandema. It's like the police or the security people are reluctant, and anytime you report a case, they don't take it serious. It will take some time before. Even my case like this, when I reported to them, it took them 2 hours. And by then, the armed robbers, they'll find their way.
According to the Ghana Police Service, in its recent regional flashpoint matrix, the Upper East region has a total of 345 flashpoints. The Busa North District, where Sandema is the capital, has 23 of these flashpoints, the 6th highest in the region. There have been pockets of other recent armed robbery attacks in some parts of the Upper East region, including Tili on the Bolgatanga-Boku Road, Karmenga on the Bolgatanga-Tamale Road, and within the Bolgatanga Township itself, where at least 2 armed robberies have taken place in this month of November. Many citizens of the Upper East region are therefore worried that insecurity may just be on the rise as the country nears another general election on December 7. Albert Sorry, Joy News, Sandema.
Now, residents of Cape 3 Points in the Western region say they would not take part in the December 7 elections because of what they describe as years of deceit over the construction of the road leading to the town. The 32-kilometer road goes through more than 15 communities. The town that has long been associated with Ghana's Jubilee oil fields, producing over 100,000 barrels of oil daily, has one of the worst roads in the region. Here's a report by my colleague Justice Baidu.
Samson Kwesen has been driving on the road to Cape 3 Points since 2010. It was the same year Ghana started producing oil in commercial quantities, and even though Ghana's oil fields are offshore, Cape 3 Points has been marked as the geographical reference point for the industry. 3 years before that, when discovery was made, the people here went to town in joy, hoping that at least oil wealth would help reconstruct their road.
As for this road, if it's not done, voting will be difficult.
At the station where drivers load to Cape 3 Point, many people say their work is slowly grinding to a halt.
Sometimes you can spend 3 days on the road because of faults coming from the bad road. We spend a lot on maintenance.
Even when our women want to, the pregnant women want to go to hospital, they have to carry them on their back. So it's cheating.
Last year, for almost the umpteenth time, government said it was going to construct the road. Contractors came onto the road and then abandoned it in months.
We have been already cheated. Always when they come, so they will do the wood, so vote for us, they will do the big. So we have decided that this 2020 election, there, no road, no vote.
As for the road, if it is not done, we do not even want to see ballot boxes here.
As the country gets ready to vote in a few weeks, the people of Cape 3 Point are seizing the moment to speak up about their biggest need, a good road. Justice Baidu, Joy News, Cape 3 Point.
Now, Assembly members at the Techima North District Assembly have promised to be agents of peace in the build-up to the 2020 general elections. District Chief Executive of the area, Mr. Peter Mensah, at the Assembly final meeting for the year, called on the people of the constituency to say no to political violence as the law would be applied against troublemakers without fear or favor. Correspondent Anas Sabit has more.
At the district's final General Assembly meeting to end the year 2020, the District Chief Executive for Techima North, Mr. Peter Mensah, called on members of the Assembly and the general public to be ambassadors of peace in the build-up to the 2020 general elections.
You know, in the run-up to the 2020 elections, I have to, on behalf of the President, present to the General Assembly the status of the district. And of course, I admonish the Assembly members to be circumspect, especially within their electoral area, in how politicians come and campaign. We believe that politics of track records is the way to go by. However, as a district that has gotten itself stabilized in terms of peace and security, we think that we cannot do anything to jeopardize the peace that we are enjoying.
Though the constituency has had its fair share of electoral violence over the years, there's been relative peace within the area for some years now. Mr. Peter Mensah cautioned troublemakers to stay off the constituency as the law will be applied without fear or favor.
We are warning people who are planning to perpetrate any form of violence or chaos in our district. If anybody has conceived such an idea, the simple advice to them is that they look for a different district, but not Techima North.
Some of the assembly members present at the General Assembly meeting also promised to ensure that the peaceful atmosphere within the area would be sustained.
Even though the Techima North has experienced skirmishes of instability related to chieftaincy and other issues, as of now, it is very stable. And we are pleading to all and sundry that as we approach election 2020, we are expecting everyone to conduct their dealings and themselves very well.
And that's it for the AM News. I'm Mapita CBD. The AM Show continues with Mama Via Owusu Abwaje and Benjamin Akakpo. Enjoy.
Oh, hello there. Thank you for joining us for the news review. You're watching the AM Show. Mapita CBD giving us the AM News just a while ago. Thank you for joining us if you've just tuned in, and welcome to the review segment. Ben and I are going to look through the newspapers. I've got quite a number of them: the Daily Statesman, the Ghanaian Times, Daily Guide, the Business and Financial Times. Am I doing the Dispatch?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So lots of papers. What do you have?
I have the Daily Graphic this morning, then the Finder newspaper, the Custodian, the Crystal Clear Lens, it's been a while, and then the Republic Press.
All right, let me start with the Ghanaian Times newspaper this Friday, November 2020. Friday, November 2020. Okay, on the front page of the paper, something that Director of Elections of the Electoral Commission said to us here on the show yesterday on special voting on December 1, we will have 109,557 persons vote nationwide. They include security personnel, journalists, and election officials. Education critical in achieving Ghana beyond aid. That's according to the Senior Minister, Yao Safumafo. Former President Rawlings was fair, firm, principled, says Dr. Siang Ejapong of the Jospon Group. ECG signs deal to install 200 charging systems for electric cars. If you go to page 3, where they usually have the crime stories, it says 2 die in hospital following shooting in Kumasi. This is the Yidriasi incident. There are some details in this that's pretty new. So the alleged suspect, right, is actually Ghanaian American. And the narration is a bit different in terms of what happened before he allegedly shot his victim 3 times in the stomach.
Before he himself, and whether he shot himself, whether he was shot at, the position of the gun, which raises questions about, because if you shoot yourself, the gun would either end up in your hands or somewhere close to you. Of course, that's in handling guns. There's something called recoil, and sometimes you shoot and then the gun gets flung out of your hands. But interesting dynamics, because the witnesses are telling one story, and it appears other people also saw something totally different. And the family is also saying something different.
So this is what I learned. I think later on, after the incident happened on social media, there was some denial that he was an armed robber. I didn't know where it was coming from, but if you look at the story in the Ghanaian Times, they tell you how the incident happened in front of a certain bank. And the people who didn't see it happen thought that it was an armed robbery. When it happened, and even when the police got to the scene. What I haven't been able to connect is whether or not he shot himself or the police shot him, because that's also another angle of the story.
Could this be a different incident?
So, no, this is the same incident. It's the same AEDRS incident. So you can check out what the graphic is also reporting on this. And then they were apparently taken to different hospitals where they died. So the KNUST hospital and the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. Also 4 in court for allegedly stealing power belonging to ECG. And this story is about somebody who has a way of giving you electricity, okay? So if, for instance, you want to buy 500 Ghana cedis electricity, he can tell you, I can give you the 500, all right, but you pay 300 Ghana cedis. And it's got this MasterCard, apparently, that he used to swipe, and then the credit will come on, and it's not paying directly to ECG. But thankfully, that group, they've been arrested, and there's more in the story. They've been doing this for a while, and I think the credits that so far they've managed to steal, allegedly, is some 40,000 Ghana cedis. Maybe not. I think it's actually how much they were charged when they were granted. So it says that they pleaded not guilty to the charges and were granted a total of 40,000 Ghana cedis with 2 sureties. But there's plenty details that you might want to check out. And if somebody is offering you a cheaper electricity, no matter how tempting it is, please say no, because, you know, you might not be caught right now, but eventually you will. And when you're caught, you pay back everything, plus the national disgrace that come with it. Kidnapping, killing of 4 tardy girls. Investigators did not incriminate accused, according to an eyewitness. In the center spread, essentially the stories on the front page, the headlines, but also this one. Government will continue to protect local industries, according to Trade and Industry Minister Alan Chiramating. Signing of Book of Condolence for former President Rawlings ends today. Today marks the last day of the opening of a Book of Condolence in honor of former President Flight Lieutenant Jerry Rawlings, who passed to eternity last week, Thursday. The Book of Condolence, which was opened a week ago, has had personalities, groups, institutions, diplomatic corps, high government officials, and presidential aspirants, among many others, express their condolence for the demise of the longest-serving leader in the country's history. So if you've been thinking of going to sign, it's the last day today. On the back page, 5,000 household sanitation facility for Ayawaso North Municipality, and minister satisfied with work on Obichibi Pokwasi interchanges. Okay, that's it for the Ghanaian Times.
Well, let's proceed from there with the Daily Graphic newspaper. It says, provide Amidu with 24-hour security. That's according to His Excellency the President. And that's on the back of some of what we've heard, seen in recent times. And according to that news desk report, the President, to be very brief, has directed the Inspector General, Mr. James Opombuenu, to immediately provide the former Special Prosecutor, Mr. Martin Amidu, with 24-hour police protection, owing to the alleged threats on his life. If you've listened to that audio, he talks about the fact that he even felt his car had been bugged and house as well, and many other things. So it's a pretty interesting development there. We just see how that pans out. Likely, if there's enough time, I'll delve into that story. But honor Rawlings with peaceful elections. House of Chiefs charges Ghanaians. It's 8 days already. Would you believe it? Vice President pays for Wachi service with QR code scanner. How do you pay for your Wachi? We do the traditional. We go and buy. The most techie one we've done is to order and have a delivery, a dispatch, bring it to us. How high-tech have you got with that?
Oh, actually, I think recently I pay for services with mobile money. So you can actually do mobile money if you're buying fruits or whatever you can buy with Wache and all that.
QR code.
And then, but the QR code, the restaurant, the hotels are actually using it.
They are.
I remember going to Kumasi, the Golden Tulip. I remember you could scan and check out what they have on their menu.
Yeah.
Instead of the traditional.
That I have done before, but actually,
So you're talking about the paying antimony with the QR code scanner. Okay, well, that I haven't done. The Vice President tested that.
But antimony, you owe us some Wache this morning since we've mentioned your But
that's the joints that the Vice President visited.
That's where he actually did it. Anyway, 10 more defunct companies gazetted. I thought I'd just take out a few more stories. Now, yesterday we marked World Toilet Day, and there's a story on the back page, but there's an editorial on page 7. Everyone deserves a decent place of convenience. That ties into the story on the back page that says WaterAid calls for more investment in sanitation services as world marks Toilet Day. On a day like this, I'm thinking about the housing minister Honorable Atachi. I'm also thinking of the Sanitation and Water Resources Minister, Abena, Cecilia Abena Dapa. How far have
I remember, was it 3 years ago that I spent the toilet day in Jamestown at a public facility?
You did? Jamestown?
Yes, Jamestown, yes.
Jamestown.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was very early morning, so I saw everything.
Yeah.
You know, people coming in. And listen, don't take it for granted. There are people who would wake up this morning, carry their buckets and their clothing and go to a public place to use the toilet. After that, wash down, get dressed and go to work.
That's the reality.
It's not every person that, yes, that's the reality. Not everybody has that in their homes.
But you know, over the years, we've made promises. I mean, the housing minister, how many times? The last time he shouted Nima and some felt it was derogatory and all of that, and we'll get toilet facilities. And even worse, the directive that, look, we're going to get landlords, landladies to do the right thing in these compound houses and the rest. What happened to that?
Well, you know, the reality is that in some of the communities, you would have to totally demolish, you know, kind of like rebuild the community if you have to make room for that.
Mamavi,
because of the nature.
Per the law, you shouldn't even have a facility like that without washrooms.
Yeah, but they do. They do. You know, when we're doing the Joy Clean Ghana campaign with the AMA, and Nancy would go around with the officials. I mean, it's the reality we're talking about, isn't it? Yeah.
Crazy.
Say all the nice things and big dreams.
I guess it feeds into what we say. We have the finest laws in Ghana. Application, no. Trump made no plans to host G7 summit. I'm just doing some international news as well. By the way, if you've been following, Joe Biden is approaching 80 million votes, which is like a record. The 75 million he had talked was a record already. He's approaching 80 million votes, but Donald Trump still says, hey, for the way. In fact, he's raising money for the legal, you know, tussle. But it appears every court he goes to, you know, I was saying it the other day, now he's gone to more courts and it's the same thing. We do law here.
Well, they are done recounting the Georgia votes and it's still a slim
I think 0.3
margin, victory for Biden, which of course Mr. Trump still insists that this was the fraudulent votes that they essentially just recounted. So his position is still same.
Right. Done with the Daily Graph.
Let's do the Daily Dispatch front page. Rawlings' timeliness, 66 events that defined his life. COVID-19 has killed 250,000 in the U.S. A Joy News documentary on POS devices baseless. That's a response from the National Lotteries Authority. The paper has got the statement. Rawlings was principled, fair and firm, according to Dr. Siawe Ejapong of the Jospon Group. As he signed the book of condolence, he made those comments. Pretty much that's it for the Daily Dispatch by way of what's making headlines on the front page, at least.
Well, I'd like to dig briefly into the story in the Finder newspaper. It's on page 5. It says, file tax returns and enjoy 1,200 Ghana cedis in benefits. That's according to the Ghana Revenue Authority. And public sector workers have been advised to file for tax reliefs and enjoy the benefits which will mitigate their tax burden. One of the reliefs available to employees are 1,200 Ghana cedis for the married. In addition, public sector workers are entitled to 600 Ghana cedis per child schooling in Ghana, maximum of 3 children there. And then persons with disability get 25% and 1,000 cedis for aged dependents with a maximum of 2. Those who are 60 years or over can apply for a relief of 1,500 Ghana cedis. Interesting stuff. Maybe you should start paying your taxes if you're not already and benefit from some of these packages. Then education is critical in achieving Ghana Beyond Aid, or Safumafu saying that. Ecom Ghana CEO wins KOTOKO Personality of the Year award. And that's it for the Finder newspaper.
All right, let's do the Daily Guide front page.
I think you can do 2 at a go since you have more papers this morning.
Okay. All right, so Daily Guide, Daily Statesman, real quick. QR code system starts. NPP target 35% for Nana. 5 seats in Volta. NLA denies Joy News Android film. That's how they decide to put it. Education pivotal for Ghana Beyond Aid. Go after them. Ofusampofu tape plays in court. Let's see if they've got some entertainment news. Okay, they do. This is in the center spread. I'm voting for Akufo-Addo again, says Kwesi Oting. Bobby Brown Jr. found dead. it's good to preach prosperity, but, well, you got to check out the details in the center spread of the paper. Let's do the Daily Statesman. NLA debunks multimedia corruption allegations. First in Africa, third in the world. Ghana rolls out universal QR code and education critical in Ghana beyond aid vision, says Osafo Mafo.
That Daily Guide story, though, about Bobby Brown Jr., is it the Bobby Brown?
Let's see.
Because you do know their child, the one with Whitney Houston.
It is the Bobby Brown.
Wow, what's happening to
the 28-year-old was found dead on Wednesday in his home in the LA area. This will be the second child, right?
Yes,
that's why.
Because the girl,
the one with Whitney. However, police officials who were at the scene of the incident said they do not believe there was any foul play that resulted in the death. Bobby Jr., who was one of Bobby's 7 children, also appeared on the family's short-lived Bravo reality show, Being Bobby Brown. His mother, Kim Ward, dated Bobby off and on for 11 years before he got engaged to Whitney. Okay, so that's a little background for you. So they also bring back what you mentioned. Bobby Jr.'s half-sister, Bobby Christina, died when she was just 22 years old after she was found lifeless in the bathtub of her Georgia home. So there you have it. I guess second child publicly who's died in some kind of mysterious circumstance. Bobby Brown's children. Okay, let's do the Business and Financial Times and then the Crystal Lens, I guess. So Business and Financial Times, economic recovery kickstarts with launch of 100 billion Ghana cedis curse. And curse is simply the COVID-19 alleviation and revitalization enterprises support. Also collaborate with Development Bank to hasten economic recovery. Bank of Ghana tells banks, and local farmer makers pursue COVID-19 vaccine deals, seek government support to accelerate process. It says that the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association Ghana has begun moves to pursue the acquisition of COVID-19 vaccines for onward distribution across the country. The association says there is need to make, and it continues on page 3. Here we go. Early moves as players in the sector are ready to collaborate on manufacturing the vaccines in the country to feed the sub-region and continent. So this is something that Fred Smith raised the day that he went to Odona, and I had to do the papers with him, was talking about how we should get our officials also talking about acquiring the vaccines. It's good that the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association are following up on this very important issue. The Crystal Clear Lens, last paper. It says bombshell. Amido accuses Akufo-Addo of sending killers after him. Well, I'm not sure this is how things played out. So why don't I just hold on to this paper? Please don't show it yet. Okay, that's it for me. Ben?
Okay, so I'm going to wrap up with these two. The custodian saying easy to declare 2020 election results after 24 hours. It appears we're trending this morning. I mean, we're doing some good work out there. NLA replies Joy News or Multimedia Group. And the other stories I believe we've seen. But how about this one? Not what you'd hear all the time on, and I'm just hiding it a bit from Mama V. So for those of you over 40, this one is for you. I don't count. 50 ways to have a healthy sex life after 40.
So why would you be hiding a thing like that from me? Like, I don't get it.
You don't qualify either. Anyway, so I'm looking at quite a number of things here. 50 for 40. And so, okay, I'm going to reserve this paper. I'm going to hold it.
Are you even 40?
That's why I'm saying I don't count.
But you're reserving the paper?
No, for
when you're 40.
People who are 40.
Like you're keeping it?
No, I know.
When you're 40, you go back and
I know a few people in production who are 40, and I just don't want to mention names. Republic Press. EC dismisses claims of missing security personnel on special voters list. We will win Kpong Katamansu's seat, GUM parliamentary candidate saying that, and then Amidu goes, quote unquote, mad, threatens to wash dirty linen in public. But Republic Press, you know, in Chi, lin, like we say bellet and milik, but how can you write dirty lin, like L-I-N? Where from that one? Anyway, Mama V, I'm done. The papers always let me do, I don't know why. It makes me look.
Don't worry, we're waiting for that segment of yours so we can learn.
Let's delve into them.
All right, is there some details that you wanted to share before we go to my journal?
At least it was about World Toilet Day. We've delved a bit into that matter. But WaterAid Ghana yesterday called on the government and the international community to establish measures actually to increase investments in sanitation services. The organization has called for a national sanitation authority and a dedicated fund for sanitation affairs to be set up to help address sanitation-related challenges confronting the country. And to help improve sanitation in the country, the acting country director of WaterAid Ghana, Ms. Antoinette Shaw Anyawo, said the electorate in Ghana must take issues of sanitation into consideration when voting in the December 7 election, so that whichever party that formed the next government would make room for sanitation-related projects in future budgets. But my simple thinking, with all the institutions we have, and with all, what else do we need really to get some traction when it comes to sanitation-related matters? Do you know, interestingly, during the period of the partial lockdown, the city was looking, I mean, some of us had to come to work, and we did, and the city was, lockdown finished, no, Charlie. And we were touting 80% clean. And
reality check.
Yeah, here we are. Anyway, so that's the story.
Oh, but they say we're not exactly where we used to be, too, so we've made some kind of progress, if you like. Yes.
You know, there was a time I actually took some, well, not personally, but I had shots sent to me within the premises, I'm sorry to say, of the Jubilee House. Collections of filth like you would see in, it was terrible. And that is how bad it is. You can't blame His Excellency the President for that, but there are people in charge. So even within that state facility, we can't keep it neat.
That reminds me. So
the mindset of...
I spent some time at the beach. Okay, well, let me not say beach like sea, because the beaches are closed, right? And you will see the filth. I guess those who had businesses there, the joints, if you like, would usually clean the space right in front of them. But with businesses closed at the beach, oh my God, you should see it.
Ghana's beaches are deadly. You go to other countries and you look at how pristine their beaches are. You actually see our seas are not even, the water is, I think it's how clean you keep it.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you can just go to myjournline.com for a lot of stories. One of the stories is Mahama Yariga responding, because if you remember, and you've been listening closely to Mr. Martin Amidu's interaction with City FM's Omar Sanda, you know that there was a mention of Kennedy Japan talking about some medical records of Mr. Amidu and saying that he went to Germany, and it was attributed to Mr. Mahama Yariga. He's denying that flatly. You can check out details of that. He said he would never, ever, just like Mr. Martin Amidu said, if he ever did that, he would be ostracized in the community where they come from. So you can check out the story on myjournline.com. There's a fascinating...
Go, all right. I have some...
Okay, not related. Okay, sure. There's a fascinating story on the BBC Africa page. In Ghana, when girls get pregnant, we don't kick them out of school, but in Tanzania they do. There's actually a law that they passed. Well, groups, human rights groups have been trying to lobby the government, but they haven't been successful. So now they've taken them to court.
But that's rather
They've
radical.
taken them to the International Human Rights Court on this.
That's rather radical. It's not a crime to get pregnant. It's not the best thing, but anyway, lawyer Ace Ankuma, today happens to be your birthday. A very happy birthday to you. Right from here, the Multimedia Group, we wish you the very best. Yesterday was birthday of my brother. I failed to do this live on air. Anthony Akakpo, belated happy birthday to you. God bless you and give you that Midas touch. May everything you touch turn to gold.
Is it that you forgot your brother's birthday?
No, not
or you forgot? Because it's very easy to pretend that you didn't forget. Stay with that.
Oh, come on. You can't be doing this to me. Well, it's time now for sports.
No,
Hello, good morning and welcome to the AM Sports with me, Oreku Ampofo. Well, it's a Friday and certainly it's time to ease you into what should be a wonderful weekend of sports. And before we do start off with the build-up to this weekend, we'll be seeing some Ghana Premier League action and all that. We'll be hearing from some fans from the north as well. But let's start from KOTOKO, KOTOKO, where they've had a little bit of a case with the Ghana Football Association concerning the recording of match footage footages. Now, the GFA did say in a statement that clubs cannot record games because it does infringe, contractual agreements that they have with their broadcast right holders, StarTimes. And Asante Kotoko have responded to that they paid fees specifically to be able to use their video cameras, which provides them with technical analysis. Now, the GFA has responded that Monday would be the right day for clubs and stakeholders to decide and come together on an agreement on what should be the way forward for Ghana football.
When Kumasi Asante Kotoko played against the Techiman 11 Wonders on Sunday night, their 2020-21 Ghana Premier League season opener kickoff was delayed by 11 minutes. The delay was as a result of a disagreement between KOTOKO and the GFA officials over the former's rights to videotape the game. Additionally, the Porcupine Warriors showed receipts of payment they had made to the GFA, giving them permission to shoot the game with their own cameras. Per Article 42(5) of the Premier League regulations, clubs can pay to record their matches. The GFA, on the other hand, insisted the only cameras allowed to shoot the game were those of the official broadcasters of the league, StarTimes, and asked KOTOKO to take the video from StarTimes after the game if they so badly needed it. KOTOKO threatened to boycott the game, but subsequently rescinded the decision and the recording went ahead along with the game. On Tuesday, the GFA, in order to avoid further confrontation, refunded Asante Kotoko the monies they paid to the association to grant them permission to record their games, an amount of 1,700 Ghana cedis for 34 matches. Kotoko are also believed to be unhappy with having to pay 3,500 Ghana cedis for fueling the generator at the Accra Sports Stadium for their evening game. Club's officials are furious they have been made to bear an extra cost because of a schedule they are not responsible for putting together. The preceding events angered the club's top hierarchy, who immediately swung into action. First, they have vowed to refund the StarTimes' broadcast money so they can have absolute control over videoing their games. According to Joy Sports sources, clubs are expected to receive the first tranche of StarTimes money on Monday, November 23, an amount of $10,000, which Asante Kotoko intend to refund fully to the GFA, freeing them of any obligation to have their home games covered by StarTimes. Optionally, KOTOKO will now consider the option of broadcasting their home games on a paid streaming platform, SICK, which the club signed a 3-year partnership agreement with. The steps of KOTOKO has been supported by at least 7 clubs, according to Joy Sports sources. This has forced the Ghana Football Association to convene stakeholders meeting with CEOs next week, Monday.
Still on the Ghana Premier League now, in the first game of match day 2 of the league, Techiman 11 Wonders football clubs would be locking horns with Cape Coast Ebusuadras at the Techiman Ohene Amial Park later this afternoon. Now, fans of the Techiman-based club, after picking a point away to KOTOKO in Accra, are optimistic that the home club would beat their opponents by a minimum of 2 goals. Our man on the grounds, Anas Sabit, has more in the following report.
Premier League kick-started barely a week ago, and after match day 1, the Techiman-based club 11 Wonders picked a vital away point in Accra against the Porcupine Warriors Kumasi-Asante Kotoko. After this vital away point, how is the morale in camp? What are the expectations of the team as well as their teaming fans who are here in their numbers to cheer the team up? This Friday, they are facing it off against the Cape Coast Ebusuadras here at the Ohene Amial Park, known as the Den. Are they poised to pick all the maximum points here in Techiman? Let's get interactive with some of the fans to have their take on the match ahead.
KOTOKO started this season very well, offloading 16 good players, then 10 players, new players came in, Gama from Brazil, Sule Miniru, Andrew Sapau from Bofuakwa, Patrick Asma from Europe to Ghana. So many good players. In fact, KOTOKO has been seeded as a top club, and even people think KOTOKO will win the league. But looking at the sum of money assured, we also want the money to also develop our team. So we were focused. So gaining that point was very, very, very fantastic. And the people in Techiman and the diaspora were very, very happy at the point, or with the point we got in Accra.
You realize Wonders performed very well in playing against Kumasi-Asante Kotoko. In fact, many people thought Kotoko was going to demolish our team. But our performance on the day actually made people realize that, in fact, Wonders has come of age. So we're looking forward to their performing very well come this season, in the course of the season.
This Friday, you are playing against Dwarfs in Kichima. How important is this game? What are you expecting from the team?
Well, with 1 point that we picked against KOTOKO, all eyes is on 11 Wonders because we performed marvelously well in Accra. I learned the last match, the first match, Dwarfs also played with Elmina Sharks. They drew 2-2. So they also coming, they are not coming to joke here. But we are sitting at our home grounds comfortably. So we have to win the game by all costs, all means. We have to win this game.
Looking at the match we are coming to play on coming Friday, with the performance we put in place on that Sunday, I have the confidence that we are going to take our 3 points here.
These fans here are very confident that the team will carry the 3 maximum points by beating the Cape Coast Ebusua Dwarfs by at least 2 goals.
For this match, I believe the goals won't be 1-0, but it will be more than 1 goal. That is my view.
What is your scoreline prediction?
I think Dwarfs will get 2 goals before they leave here.
Well, it's our expectation that Wonders wins by 2-0.
Oh, we'll beat them like 2 goals. The first match we played with KOTOKO, most of our best players they didn't play. But this time around, they are all coming in. So we are not afraid at all. We are not afraid. We are going to beat them hands down by 2-0.
From the Tichima Ohiamia Park for Joy Sports, I am Anas Sabit.
Interestingly, other fans predicting a scoreline of at least 2-0. Well, we'll see whether that certainly manifests when the match kicks off this afternoon. But let's do some more stories where the GPMPC Foundation and Member of Parliament for Asokwa constituency, Patricia PJ, has handed an AstroTurf to the constituents to help in the development of young talent in the area of football. My colleague Calvin Owusu-Ansah of Love FM was at the event and filed this report.
The Member of Parliament for Asokwa constituency, Patricia Apieje, has teamed up with the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation Foundation to hand over an artificial football turf to the constituents. The modern facility comes with a football pitch, an inner perimeter fence and floodlights. In the next couple of months, the facility will have washrooms, reverse and spectator stands, as well as changing rooms installed. At a handing over ceremony, Patricia Apieje expressed delight in facilitating the construction of the complex to serve the sporting needs of the youth in the Asokwa municipality.
If we look at the current soccer performance of our country, you realize that there's a missing link. The missing link is how to develop the little ones, to train them like the Brazilians does, right from infancy to become soccer stars in the future. And if we can only attain that, I attempted to do the natural grassing for one of the communities. It didn't really work well. So I felt that the current technology, whereby you use AstroTurf to develop the pitches, is one of the ways that can help me assist my constituents. If I'm talking about my constituents, I'm talking about the youth whom we want to develop to ensure that we bring out the stars. The Asokwa nurtures the stars, the soccer stars in our economy.
Division 1 side Asokwa Deportivo has lauded the initiative. Club owner Amidu Abdullahi, aka Kamarat, who hails from the constituency, is hopeful the artificial football turf will help unearth more talent in the area.
A lot of these kids do not have where they can play football, but I'm thankful to the MP, the government and GMPC for this gesture. The
state-of-the-art pitch meets FIFA specifications for protests. Chief Chief Operating Officer of Black Ghana Limited, Eddie Dankwa, contractor of the project, implored the municipality to adhere to the maintenance schedule to preserve the facility for future generations.
If you check FIFA Quality Pro, there are certain standards you need to meet, and we wanted to emulate that in Ghana, and that's exactly what we have done today. We have so far given them a handout, a write-up, okay, a maintenance manual on how to maintain. So every 6 months we've given them, you know, the platform to do that maintenance. It may be minor, it may be major, but I don't expect to see any major maintenance on this for a period of time. Yes, because, well, you know, the weather and all of that plays a factor. But of course, this is of the highest quality, and it will stand the test of time. It will be here for many years to come.
Residents of the Asokwa and Atonsi communities are excited to access the facility. They are upbeat such facilities will help develop talent into professional sports personalities.
The people within the constituency and the municipality, we're very happy to have such a project here. At least it is going to help the younger ones who would want to take football as their profession to have a better place to exercise or to exhibit their talents.
My name is Kelvin Owusu for Joy Sports.
We're talking about the 6th Ghana Mining Industry Awards. That's happening tonight, just this evening. But of course, because of the special circumstances that we find ourselves in, it will be live on television here on Joy News on all our social media handles. But let's have a conversation about this evening's event with Mr. Ahmed Natongma. He's Director, External Relations and Communications with the Ghana Chamber of Mines. A very good morning to you.
Good morning, Avi.
Yeah, good to see you too. Here we are wearing masks.
You see?
And then having the 6th edition of the events also being held in special circumstances.
Yes.
But let's talk about the chamber a little bit. How are you guys doing?
We're good. We are managing through the COVID. I know mining is the backbone of the country, and so we've tried as much as possible to keep the mines running, even in these dire circumstances, as you referred to.
Yeah. Has it affected you greatly? Because, you know, when you check construction companies or construction sites, sometimes the operations come to a halt because of COVID. We've had projects that have been extended because of COVID. How has it affected your members?
Well, it has affected us, but we have, like I said, we have been innovative and proactive. You know, health and safety is very critical in mining. So when the COVID started, people had to reorganize their operations, and the non-essential staff who could work from home quickly started working from home, and those who would be working on the mills and the plants were in work. So some of the companies decided to camp them for about 2 weeks on or 3 weeks on, and then 1 week off. And the testing, the key was that testing. So before you come onto the mine, you'll be tested. When you're leaving, you'll be tested to make sure that you don't have it and you don't pass it on. So it's changed their lifestyle a bit, but like I said, we are trotting on.
Great. I had a conversation with some of the members on, I think you were celebrating, was it the safety week?
Yes.
Because there was a lot of strategies that they shared with us, the snake bites on site and things like that, how to, you know, be cautious and things like that. Is this the climax of the celebrations that you've had this year? And I'm talking about the 6th Industry Awards.
Yes, usually, you know, our year ends on the 30th of November when we have our last council meeting. In the past, we would have this event right after council meeting, like probably next week, but because of COVID, we're bringing it forward. And this will climax the whole year and also the previous year's activities. Usually, this award will reward activities that happened in the year before. So you realize that some of the awardees would have been for 2019 activities. So we climax the year, we have the awards, we celebrate those who need to be celebrated, and we encourage those who need to be encouraged, and then we'll move on for the next year.
What are some of the categories that you will be giving out awards? And whilst you take us through that, you also have some special guests on the occasion. Who would be hearing from, for instance?
Sure. The special guest, as usual, is our own sector minister, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. You know, he's our boss of bosses. So when we have an event like this, he has to say something and speak to us. We also have Reverend Daniel Tete, the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission. He's our special guest of honor. And he will be the keynote speaker as well. And he will tell us the relationship between mining and the Securities and Exchange Commission, how to get mining companies to list on the exchange, how to get Ghanaians to also buy shares and become owners of the mines and the minerals that we have. So we'll have, of course, the flagship award is the Mining Company of the Year. It will be a company that has done well throughout the previous year, and then we'll award that. We'll have the Female Mining Professional of the Year. We'll have the Female Mining Student at the University of Mines and Technology. We'll have the Mining Personality of the Year. We have Best Graduate Student. We also have honorary awards for people who have left the industry, but who contributed a lot to the success of the industry. We have Best Performer in Environmental Management. We have Mining Supply Services, Responsible Social Responsibility, Innovation, Contract Mining, Safety, Exploration, all these kinds of, these are categories will be awarded. Yes.
Yeah. Can you tell us why this event is important? Why are the awards important? Why do you continue to do it each year? And what does it do to your members and those who win the various categories?
Well, you know, it's very important. I think that we say that we need to, reward our heroes before they die. So as you work with us, we need to reward you and recognize your achievements, to spur you on to greater heights, and also to let others see that, look, whatever you are doing is being recognized. So our award is just to celebrate excellence in responsible mining. And for the awardees, it's a kind of a feather in their cap. It helps on their CVs, and they can take it out there and say, look, we won this, we won that from the Chamber of Mines. You know, every Chamber of Mines event is a highly coveted event. So everybody who wins an award is really very happy. And we get feedback right after saying that, oh, I'm happy I won the award. And since I won ABC, this has happened to me. So people really covet this award, and we make sure that it becomes one of the flagship awards in this country.
I think I've shared the whole with your members on 2 occasions, so I know how competitive, how the environment is, how people really want to win the various categories.
Yes.
But here we are this year with the events happening on television, because obviously you can have a lot of people converge in one location. So how different is it going to be? Apart from the fact that it's going to be on television, would we still have that kind of feel, that competitive and exciting atmosphere?
Definitely. I know we're going to work with Joy FM. I know Joy has you have the capacity to create that ambience and that feeling in people, even through your social media and on TV. So we're going to work with you to make sure that even though people are watching from home, it will feel as if they are with us. So it's going to be, that's what they say, live. Live means joining us in all the cries and the celebrations and everything online. And like you said, because it's going to be on TV, it's going to be strictly from 5 to 7. So for 2 hours, we're going to be on TV. So we endeavor, we'll respectfully ask all our guests to make sure they are at the venue and seated promptly by 4:45. So that we can start, and then we'll enjoy your presence, and then we'll make it as befitting as it's been in the past.
Great.
Yes, and because of, like I say, COVID, we like people to watch, get their children to watch. And now I think that we might even get more people watching and participating from home than we have. So we'll have just a few people. The recipients, the special guests, will be in the hall with social distancing protocols and everything observed. And then we will send the ambience and everything straight into their TV sets and online platforms.
How many members do you have? And you've got them in various parts of the country. So just remind us again, the places that we'll be reaching tonight.
Oh, we have members who are as far as Wa, the Upper West region. That's Azuma Resources. We have Newmont in the Kenya Sea area. We have Anglo-Ashanti, definitely Obuasi. We have Takwa. We have Chirano, Sefi Chirano in the Sefi Bibiani area. So we have them all over the world. We have Adamus in the Zima area. So we do have a lot of companies, and then we have the Achim, the eastern region as well. So basically we have, except in the Volta region that we don't have a big mine.
Yeah, I was going to ask, Volta region, like...
It's coming up. I mean, the exploration is being done in the Volta region, and there's a lot of prospects there. So very soon, I'm sure we will be in the Volta region promoting responsible mining agenda in the region.
Great. All right. So we have to end our conversation unless you have special thanks that you want to send across because you got support.
Yes. That's true, definitely.
Yep. And then the event is today, by the way. It's happening at the Mervinbeck Ambassador Hotel, but we're carrying it live here on Joy News because not many people can be at the venue. So just stay put, 5 p.m. sharp, right here on Joy News. On YouTube, on Facebook, we will be streaming. And the Chamber will also be streaming on their social media pages as well alongside. All right, so acknowledgements?
Yes, so we are going to acknowledge our bosses, the Executive Committee and Council of the Chamber, for allowing us to do this in this COVID year. I know people said it was COVID, don't do it, but they saw it, they need to do it, and they allowed us to do it. And our headline sponsor is, of course, Gold Flows Ghana Limited, with the main sponsors, Chirano Gold Mines, African Underground Mining Services, that's AUMS, and GFA-ASANTE. And they are supported by, of course, PwC, who are the educating people, and Newmont Ghana Limited, SMT, Interplus Ghana, and Asanko Ghana Limited. So these are our sponsors. That is, but we still have all our members of the chamber sponsoring us and being part of the occasion. So like I said before, 5 p.m. we should be seated so that we can take the facility that you have offered us. And we'll thank Joy FM too for agreeing to be with us. You know, Joy FM, we have been listening to Joy since day one, and I think it's one of the best stations.
Well, thank you for doing this with us, and it will be exciting today. I guess people who otherwise will not even be following the events, who would have loved to be there in previous years, but who could not, now can be part of it because we'll be broadcasting live. So it will be for all of us to enjoy 5 p.m. today here on Joy News. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed Natongma. He's Director, External Relations and Communications with the Ghana Chamber of Mines. Very grateful. See you later this evening.
Yes, my pleasure.
And then coming up here on our show, we've got the Chairman of the Christian Council, Reverend Dr. Paul K. Boafo, who's also Chairman who is the chairman of the Christian Council. He will be joining us for a conversation. We've got 17 days more to the December 7 polls. There are issues that have come up. How prepared are they? What kind, exactly what parts are they playing in this whole exercise? And the kind of tension that we seem to be getting, how are they hoping to bring us peace before, during, and after the general elections? So my colleague Benjamin Akapo will be having that conversation with Reverend Dr. Paul K. Boafo. And then we have another exciting conversation. Dinah Samoa is here, and we're talking about Adum Praise, the virtual concert, live on all our Adum platforms. We're talking about television, radio, and online. That's later today. You be him in our homes, obviously because of COVID-19. But Dinah Samoa is live on our show later this morning. It will be an exciting conversation. Stay with us.
Welcome back. It's good to have you join us if you're just joining us, and stay with us if you've been with us all through. We did indicate that we're going to have a conversation ahead of election 2020 on election-related matters, but this time we take it from a different angle. We're looking at the Christian Council Ghana, and this morning we're pleased to have the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church, who also doubles as the chairman of the Christian Council in the person of Reverend Dr. Paul K. Boafo. He's been gracious enough to grant us this time with us this morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. So it's been quite a while. Sure. I mean, there's a whole lot we know that the Christian Council Ghana has been doing. Yeah. And so we'd like you to just tease out the issues so far. When it comes to December 7, ahead of the election, what has the council seen so far, from afar and near?
Yeah, thank you very much, and wish to greet cherished viewers this morning. In fact, Christian Council has played a very major, significant role and part in the process coming this far. We started joining hands with the Electoral Commission during the registration of voters. We were part of the observer team that went round, and after that, we gave our report. And after that, we have also been part of the processes in making sure that there is peaceful elections, free, fair elections. So we put together a 21-member committee called the Eminent Persons Group, which is not only the Christian Council, but it's made up of all the faith-based organizations, religious organizations, the economical bodies. We also came together, and we have launched the campaign called Say Yes to Peace. Say Yes to Peace. And it's a media encounter teaching people in various communities where we engage the political leaders and all that. So that has been the process in which we have gotten ourselves involved. And we are also involved in the education of people throughout the country. So that's basically, for now, that's what we have been doing, and we are continuing.
Right. So what separates what you've been doing? Or do you work in collaboration? For example, I know of the Catholic Bishops Conference, the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Union, and all of that. Are you working hand in glove with these institutions? What is the Christian Council Ghana doing differently, apart from what these other organizations are doing?
Yeah, in fact, we always want to work in collaboration so that we don't have different voices all over, but we come as one group, one body. So whatever is done by the Catholic Bishops Council, the communique is also sent to us, so we also go through with them. The GPCC as well, the NAC, and then the Christian Council. But at a point in time, we all come together to issue one statement, which is all-encompassing for all of us, and that's what we've been doing. So we are not in a way separate from each other. I will try to get one voice so that it can come as a big force to reckon with.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, we're fast approaching election day, some 17 days more to go. What is the Christian Council Ghana expecting from the Electoral Commission, from political parties, from the electorate generally? Let's take them one by one. Let's start with the Electoral Commission. Now, I posed a question earlier about what you had seen.
Yes.
How far have we come in terms of the work of the Electoral Commission from the standpoint of the Christian Council Ghana, and what do you hope to see?
Yeah. So far, we will say that we have been involved in almost all the things that they do, because myself and the General Secretary, we serve on the Eminent Persons Group of the EC. So we are giving every detailed, every activity, so that we can also inform our members as to what is happening, right from the registration through to exhibition and all that. So we have been following them. And we see that the let the press know, or let the people know, has been a very good exercise this year, where they come out promptly on issues that are bothering the minds of people or accusations that come up. They quickly come up to either refute or to address it, which is a good plan, which is a good exercise for this year. And we believe that for what they are doing, they are making the people aware of every activity, of every plan that they have, so that people are not left in the dark. People are not left just unconcerned, but they make them aware that this is what is happening, this is what is coming. Now they are saying that they have given out the booklets to the parties.
Right.
They are saying, yes, they have received. So we also collaborated and said, fine, what else can we do so that we can have what we call a transparent system, where nothing is hidden from any person or any major stakeholder in the process to the elections. I know we believe that for what they are doing is good, because we have been engaging them. Things that people tell us, we engage them, they let us know, then we can also let the general public know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in addition to all that you've mentioned, and so the public would also not be uninformed, owing to, because that in itself could create a whole lot of a mess come December 7th. But because you made mention of this, the eminent group of persons, which is now working with the Electoral Commission.
Yeah.
There have been so many protests, if you like, concerns from, the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, among others. The political parties in the opposition have raised a lot of concerns over time. I'm sure you're very familiar with a number of them. This eminent group that was formed, I beg to ask, are you serving your purpose?
I would say yes. I would say yes. It was not formed to push out the IPAC or to push out any institution that was dealing with the EC. But it was a group just to advise the EC when there is any proposal coming up, any new thing coming up, the eminent persons group will listen to her or listen to the commission and then fine-tune it. And then that is when it is also sent to the general institutions that were also directly involved. So it is in no way at variance with whatever institutions were put in place. That's it, yeah. And so we have always given our little advice on some of the things as to how to go about it.
Advice that sometimes has not been taken.
Well, sometimes...
I mean, at some point, you've given advice, maybe the political parties have also said, yes, that is the way to go.
That's right.
It's not been taken.
It's not, yeah. So at the end of the day, you see that they are able to manage their way out of it, and then it becomes part and parcel of the rules that we are using.
So you feel, I mean, this eminent grouping is highly relevant?
Yes. Yes.
Should we maintain that grouping moving forward into subsequent elections?
Well, yes, we can maintain, but this hasn't gotten any constitutional backing or anything of that sort. This is just the working of the Electoral Commission. Yeah, she felt that, well, can I bring some people together so that they could even help me in educating the general public, especially those of us in the religious circles. Can we send it back to our religious groups, our bodies, so that we can further explain to the people? Whilst NCCE is doing their part, can we also be playing that part? Or can we help to address certain little challenges that are coming up? Can we engage the political leaders, the flag bearers? Can we engage them when there is tension? Can we ease the tension a wee bit? These are some of the things that we do, yeah.
If you had to, I'm pushing you to the wall a bit, but if you had to, and of course we also have the political parties to look at, and then the electorate itself. I wanted us to take a three-pronged approach, but if you had to assess the Electoral Commission, looking at everything up to this point in time, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give them?
I would say that they are doing very well. I would say that they are doing very well.
Very well.
Very well.
That scale.
In the sense that you don't have any doubts about what they are doing. I don't have any doubts about what they are doing. And I can say that they are on course. They are on course as to the right processes to lead us into a free, fair, peaceful elections, if we should go by what they are doing. Because
so
you see transparency.
Are you giving them an excellent mark, a very good mark, 7, 9, 5? 8. 8 over 10.
8 over 10.
That's an A.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's move on now to talk about the political parties.
Yeah.
There have been wranglings between some of the, especially the opposition political parties and the Electoral Commission. What would you like to see from the political parties, especially maybe a party like the NDC, which is the biggest minority party, ahead of election 2020, ahead, during, and after the election?
Yeah, I think what we should all try to do is to build trust and confidence in the system, because that is the umpire we all have with the EC, that they have to lead us, be good referees in the match that we are all playing fair playing grounds for all of us. And so if we can build trust in the referee or in the umpire, that look, what you are doing, we trust you, then at the end of the day, we'll come out successful. But the moment where there is mistrust, and for everything, for every exercise, for every activity, we see some doubts, some shades of secrecy in it, that is where we begin to form minds, which at the end of the day might create confusion. So for me, I will ask that let us first have trust, confidence in the system, because it is the system that we have put in place. If there is anything that is not going right, let us come out to correct it before, during, and after the election, so that we don't create any confusion for ourselves. That's what I will ask of all the political parties.
Right.
And then, as we work with them, because they are always represented at every activity, with the printing of ballot papers, with the counting, with the sending, with every activity that
the
goes on.
Of the serial numbers,
everything that goes on. So that's why I say that when there are issues coming up from political parties, especially the NDC, when they say that they have overprinted all those things, you see how to come out and say that, look, this is the process. Your people were there. So all you need is evidence. Show it. And let us prove it, that yes, indeed, these are the things. But if we just mention and we sell these things into people's minds that, oh, they are overprinting. Meanwhile, if that is not correct, it creates some confusion and mistrust for our umpire. And I believe that if these things can be avoided, it will help all of us.
And especially important that you talk about trust.
Yeah.
Well, trust itself, like respect, must be earned.
Sure.
But of course, trust is pivotal in this situation because
very pivotal.
A typical example would be what is happening now in the United States, where mistrust has been sowed in the minds of, you know, Republicans, some Republican supporters who feel, well, they have a right to have won the election. And so that is a scenario we don't want here. Yeah. But the last focus, as far as that question is concerned, would be the electorate, people like you and me. Who will be going to the polls. Yes. What is the Christian Council Ghana expecting of us?
We are expecting that we will act, we would do everything with peace, in peace, and for peace. Because election is about development. Election is about peace. Election is about our future and national growth and progress. It is not about fighting. It is not about picking up arms or wielding cutlasses and brandishing in town. And that's not politics. Politics is about our good and our growth. So all we need to do is to follow policies. Listen to policies, manifestos, that we think can bring us the development we are all aspiring for ourselves and for generations to come. Now we have gone through a lot up till now, and we believe that with certain principles and policies from governments, Ghana can win and Ghana can continue to live. What are these policies? Who are those championing those policies? They are the people we have to vote for. If we cannot go by this way, then it means that we are not even following the principles for our growth. I will say that every electorate must be focused, must see to the good of the nation, or must place Ghana first, and not individuals, and not political parties, and not just a flag bearer, but look at what is good for the whole nation, for which, at the end of the day, our children's children, just as our forefathers did for us, they will also come and enjoy. That's all about politics, and that's how we should go about our campaigning, our support, our voting, and after the voting.
In case you just joined us, we're having a conversation this morning on AM Talk with Reverend Dr. Paul K. Boafu. He's actually the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church in Ghana. He also is the chairman of the Christian Council. Before we segue into the next portion of our conversation, as we talk about other topical matters ahead of election 2020. So to guarantee, and we were talking about this before we came on air, free, fair, transparent elections, but not just transparent, not just these three, peaceful elections.
That's it.
What else is expected of all of us? Now, I'm putting all of us together, the Electoral Commission as arbiter or umpire, the political parties, and the people. In sum, what does the Christian Council Ghana want to see in that regard before we segue into other matters?
We would want to bring all these factors, all these stakeholders into one point, one place, and say that let us all think, let us all talk, let us all do our things with the mindset of having a peaceful Ghana after 7th December.
Right.
That is all we are looking forward to, so that the little ones, the aged, and more especially the vulnerable in society can live and live in peace. I was with the Ghana Blind Union Bronkahafo branch last weekend, and this was part of their plea. This was part of their request that they are not cited. If there should be any confusion now, where do they even run to? How do they even run out of these confusions, these cases? So we should be thinking in block, and not for just individuals who are sighted and physically good and can run. And even that one is not the best. Let us think about all these array of people, so that at the end of the day, everybody can go about his or her work in peace. Right. That's all Christian Council is looking forward to. That's why we are saying we have launched the campaign, Say Yes to Peace. And that's it.
Well, I'm saying yes to peace.
Thank you.
I know you.
I also say yes to peace, and I stand for peace.
Great. Now, Martin Amidu, special prosecutor, has resigned. Even before we do Martin Amidu, there is the Ejapa deal on the back of which all of this has come up. Martin Amidu refers to what he calls bid rigging. He refers to certain corrupt practices, and it's left a sour taste in the mouths of many. It's left a lot of tongues wagging. It's left a lot of people wondering what is happening. We're staking out mineral royalties ahead of time, getting them. And the entire process, now it's supposed to go back to Parliament. CSOs are saying, abrogate, throw it away. The NDC, other minority parties, not all of them, are saying, we don't need this. Recently, I was interacting with Dr. Obed Asamoah, who has been Attorney General in this country before. He also poo-pooed the idea. What is your take on the Ejapa deal?
Well, I would say that for what Martin Amidu did and his report that came out could be the recent one that we all have before us. And since it's been asked to go back to Parliament, Parliament will have to sit on it and take the final decision for us, because it is supposed to have gone through there and then come out for the final deal, but he thinks that it should go back.
But some suggest that's a futile, deal, because it went before Parliament.
Yeah.
And what else is going to change? Some of the things in there couldn't possibly change.
Well, for now, since we don't have that that opportunity to say that, okay, let the general public decide as to what we want to do, but we have an institution that has to take the final decision for us. I would ask that let them say that, look, this thing must be thrown away, and then we all go with it. If they have certain things to correct in it to help us, because as I said, everything that we do here in the nation must see to the good of the people of Ghana and not some individuals or some particular group of people. If they think that it should be thrown out, Parliament speaks, and that is it. They speak, and we just do away with it. If they think we can correct it, then we can.
But here's a stark reality that we have to deal with. In Parliament, you have a majority side and a minority side.
Sure.
And the majority also happens to be the incumbent.
Yeah.
And to avoid having egg on your face, usually you would see an incumbent supporting a policy initiative that it has actually brought to bear, emanating from cabinet, the executive coming to the legislature and going back to them for assent. Now, if from what all these people are saying, and it's said that there's no, fire without smoke or smoke without fire.
Exactly.
Now, if there's something in there, how do we, as a people, ensure that we're getting the right deal for Ghanaians? Because the likelihood, like some CSOs have pointed out, is that they are in the majority side in Parliament, and it will still pass. So what then do we do to ensure that we're getting value as a country and not mortgaging our future, the future of progeny to something that we really don't need? Maybe.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I would ask that maybe the general public's view are also asked for, so that we take all these things on board for the discussion. It should not just be the majority taking a decision on it and saying that, look, whether you like it or not, it should pass. No. I will ask that they look at whatever flaws, whatever anomalies have been pointed out by the Martin Amidu report, and then look at it critically. You see, they should look at it objectively and not subjectively, so that it doesn't turn out to be that, oh, because we proposed it and we have put in this one, whether it is good or bad, let us go ahead with it. No, at the end of the day, it will not help us. If it will not help us, let us not proceed. Let us look at it. And I think that it will be a good exercise for ourselves. It will be a good thing for ourselves to say that, oh, this part of it was not properly thought through, and this is now the way we think we can go. And I believe that shouldn't spoil anything for us, but it is looking at the future for where Ghanaians can all benefit and say that they have done a good deal for us.
If it will not help us, let us not proceed with it. The thoughts of Most Reverend Dr. Paul K. Boafo, Chairman, Christian Council, Ghana. A few days ago, we had the special prosecutor, saying, okay, up to this point, no further. I'm done. How did that news hit you?
It was a big shock to me, personally, because Martin is somebody we have all known in his NDC time as Attorney General and all that. And so we felt that he, as an individual coming to head an institution, could help us fight corruption. And for him, just out of the blue, tender his resignation, it was a shock. And I thought that something should have been done about that.
You feel something should have been done?
Yeah.
Like what? To prevent him from
resigning? At least looking at maybe the reasons that he gave. Look at the reasons. Couldn't they have looked at it? Couldn't he has also looked at it critically before saying that this is the way? Because, you see, fighting corruption in every sphere, everywhere, is swimming against the tide. It's not that simple. It's not that easy for you to say that, you have a smooth sailing. These are the impediments that come, and these are part and parcel of corruption. So for us to have someone heading an institution coming out and saying that, oh, I resign, meant that, we are defeated.
Do you feel by doing that, he was basically saying, I failed?
He
was quitting.
He was quitting. He was quitting a system which we felt he could help. And if he couldn't do it, then it's a failure on our part.
You talk about fighting corruption. He is saying corruption is fighting back at him. You spoke about the fact that he would be swimming against the tide and all of that. But even more, maybe egregious, if you like, he's talking about the fact that his life could be under threat. He's talking about the fact that his car may have been bugged. He's talking about the fact that, there were push and pull forces when it comes to the administration and people within government. He feels Mr. President himself may not have done enough. He complains about logistical constraints and all of that. Isn't that quite a, potpourri of negatives that would make any man want to resign from a job like that?
Well, if what he is saying are the troops, then it's something which is too frustrating to be inside. But you say that there are other issues also coming up to say that no, for all that.
And I was about to get to that because there are those memos as well from government
saying that no, he had a lot of things at his disposal, and we also did our part, and so it's maybe it's a whole ball game which we have not gotten to the bottom yet, which I think that the government should have done all it could, because it's the government that brought him into this position, and so how do we help to fight the corruption? How do we help to fight the system that was fighting against him? Yes, and all these things should have been done, because it's something, fighting corruption, as I said, it's not that simple. It's not that smooth sailing. And so everything should have put at his disposal for him to come out to help us.
Do you suggest, by saying what you are, that government should have, that would have been the lofty expectation?
Sure.
The fact
all that he's saying is that government didn't do 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D. All those things, if they are true, should have been provided.
Okay. Yeah. So now that he's decided to step aside, is it logical then to say that there was a failure in that respect to actually provide him with certain things that he needed in his office? Because, I mean, we've heard of the lamentations of Martin Amidu for years, about almost 3 years now. He's been writing his epistles and all of that, complaining about some of these. It's not that we've not known them. It's not as though this were some sort of shock out of the blue and all of a sudden we're hearing that, oh, he had these constraints or otherwise. So is that a failure then, a testament then to the failure by government in some respects at least?
Well, in some respect, if he didn't get all these things, then it's a failure on our part. Then we put the person there, we did not resource him, and then it's a failure on our part. Then we're not ready to fight corruption. Yeah, we're not ready yet.
Well, very interesting. And I know this Martin Amidu matter will, be with us for quite a while.
Sure.
I interacted with him yesterday, but of course it's off record. I can't say anything on that. But he has, has spoken about the fact that if he keeps being pushed, he will, and this is on record, he will say some unpalatable things, and that gets, people like me worried.
Well, that's why I'm saying that maybe there are certain issues that we are not privy to. Yeah, there are certain issues we are not privy to. And if we are not privy to certain things, we cannot, in a way, also sit and adjudicate as to the fairness of it or whatever. Yeah. Maybe there are certain things that should also come out, because government has also come out as against what he has proposed. And that is what we know, unless he decides to come out with other things which might also inform us. Then we can take informed decisions as to his resignation.
Right. Has his resignation made you lose any faith in the system? He's our first, special prosecutor. We set up this office with specific ends in mind. The ends obviously have not been achieved because, which case did he prosecute, really?
Yeah.
None. And he's resigned, alleging a number of problems. Have we failed? Have you lost faith in the system?
Well, somehow
you've lost faith.
Yes, because as at now, so what happens? What is next for us to fight? What is next for us? So who comes in to lead us in the fight? Fighting corruption should not just be lip service. It should be seen with action, where people are brought to book, people are prosecuted, people are... You see what happens in other places where people found in corrupt practices, they are jailed or they are punished. And that is how we were all looking forward to with the establishment of this SP. But we didn't see anything of that sort. And then at the end of the day, the man to lead us also resigns. And it makes us go back to square one.
Well, per the Act, we would have to get a replacement.
Sure.
And I've seen lists, proffering likely candidates, the likes of lawyer KOTOKO Ampao, the likes of Professor Stephen Kwekwasare, the accountant, come lawyer, Linda Ofori Kwafo. Her name has been put there as well. At least these are some people's, mental ruminations. Kofi Abuchi, Dean at the UPSA, Anna Bosman, among a number of others.
Kofi Abuchi, my good friend. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Anyone come to mind? I mean, looking at the lofty ideals of Martin Amidu, anyone come to mind that you think, well, these people or this set of people or someone like this would qualify or would be someone that we could look up to and say, well, we could repose faith in you?
Well, for that is the prerogative of the president, and so the list that you have mentioned, I think they are all good, and if the president should come up with any of them, and then being resourced and giving all that it takes to work in that special office, I think Ghanaians or myself, I'll go with it. For now, I cannot stick my neck out for one person and say that this is the person who can do it. We will leave that with the president to do it.
Okay. Yeah. Two key issues I want to wrap up with. Former President Rawlings has passed. It's over a week now since his passing, about 8 days now.
Yeah.
You were at, not the funeral, but before the funeral, you went, you spent some time with him.
Yeah.
What was it like? Well, that's, I suppose, was the last time you saw him publicly before his demise.
Yeah, I had some encounters with him, but the last one was when his mother passed, and then we had to go there as the Christian Council to commiserate with him. And we could see how sad he was with the demise of the mother. And having prayed with him, he asked that one of my ministers, the Bishop of Accra, should come and preach at his mother's funeral, which we readily obliged and gave him to. And you could see that he was soft-spoken, very somber, and least did we expect that he was also going to follow so soon. Yeah. Was quite
a shocker for you.
Quite a shocker.
For us all, I should say.
I didn't believe it when I heard it the first time. I thought it was a fake news and people were just joking, and but it turned out to be the truth.
It turned out to be the reality. You lived under his, regime and all of that.
Yeah.
What would you remember former President Rawlings for the most?
President Rawlings is someone who stood for what we are currently fighting against. He came in with the words probity, accountability, justice, fairness, life for the vulnerable, the poor, the marginalized, and that is what made him so popular, because at that time, people felt that meaningful life was left in the hands of just a few. And people were suffering at the grassroots. Yeah, and we felt that no, freedom must come and it must be for everyone. So students and all of us, we joined in and we're all shouting and shouting so that we could see fairness in society. And this is what he stood for. And it has been with him ever since. It has been with him ever since. And these are the values, these are the things that I believe still counts, and we would remember him for it. Yes.
Right. The very final bit, and it's a wrap here. I did mention this to you. We've seen this time and again, and it's becoming quite a problem. Recently in Odona, and I went into the thick of, the fire that gutted that market, razed to the ground. Yeah. Only yesterday, we also heard of that incident where in Secondary in the Western region, 3 persons have suffered severe injuries and all of that at the fishing bay.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? How do we end some of these happenings? Human life, property, all gone.
Yeah, it's a very sad incidences that occur with us from time to time. And when it happens it's a big loss to the whole nation. We will not say that it is just for those people whose containers or whose wares are lost, but it's for all of us, because for Ghanaians, we are sociable, we live in the community. So once one person is affected, it trickles down to a whole chain of people. And that is why we should all be concerned about it. But at the same time, too, we are looking at the negligence on our part as a people. Normally, they will not come out with the causes of these things, but their earlier responses will be that it was due to illegal connections, it is due to the use of gas, the use of all those things.
Which is what we've heard.
Yes. So these things, we will say that the education of the people must continually come. You see, in the marketplaces, they should have these communication centers that keep on announcing every now and then that as you are closing your shop, as you are closing the day, make sure that you put off all these things so that we don't come to suffer for it. Yeah. And our planning too is also part of it, because when these things happen, the fire service will tell you that access to the place, accessibility to the place is even sometimes not there. And so before they get there, the fire is out of hand. And these things, I don't think we should continue to be having it again and again in our society. Our people, especially the women who are breadwinners, they lose all their finances and they have to start from the scratch. Some of them can't even recover. And before you realize, they are dead and they are gone, which is not a good exercise, which is not a good plan for all of us, which we need to guard against it. These things don't help us, and we have to make sure that plans are properly put in place in all our markets. In all our markets.
Right.
Yeah, so that we can address these issues.
And I guess in summary of all that we've said ahead of election 2020, peace is the watchword.
I stand for peace. And
we all do.
You all stand for peace.
So our guest this morning, Most Reverend Dr. Paul K. Boafo, Chairman, Christian Council of Ghana, also the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church. We're so grateful for
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, there's a lot more to come on the AM show this morning. Just stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back on the AM show. Now, on the back of those incidents that actually greeted us, very unfortunate in Odona, yesterday we're hit with another one at the Albert Botchesam Harbour, and a visit to the scene is going on today, a day after the inferno actually gutted parts of the harbour. Now, our Western regional correspondent, Natalia Kwanza, joins us now with updates from the scene. Natalia, what can you report, that exactly went down yesterday at this harbour?
You can see behind me, these are fisherfolk here in Sekendi. Some of them have lost their properties that they can't even put an amount of money on it. Some of them are also salvaged. You can see some of them trying to see if they can get some of their wares that has been destroyed. We had this news yesterday, that was around 4 o'clock, that there is fire outbreak here at the landing beach at the Albert Botchesam Fishing Harbour here in Sekendi. There were 6 fire tenders as of yesterday from 4 o'clock to somewhere around 7:30 when I was living here. At that time, they had put the issue under control. The fire from 4 o'clock was raging, but as of 7:30, it was under control. Right now, we understand that 3 people are in critical condition. They had burns all over. One person, according to the MP of the area, who said they had gone to visit him, said his injury was about 97%. And from yesterday, they said he was not responding to treatment. But he is not dead, as some people are speculating in the media.
I hear that there are some, at least you've mentioned one of those people who actually got severely injured. We've heard about 3. Are there any additions so far to the list of those who have been injured?
She had her shop here, a very new shop, and then she has lost everything. So we are here to speak to her. What she's saying is that basically she has gone for a loan from ASA. That is what she's working with. She has built a new store here, about 2 of them. And then all of it, including the things in it, have all burned to ashes. She told me that yesterday when she had the news, she was 3 months pregnant. And then because of the shock, she had a miscarriage. It seems there is a blame game between the fisherfolk and the women here. While some are saying that it's because of those who cook around here, that is what sparked this fire to ravage all the things over here. Some people order things otherwise. Those are things that the women should not be cooking at this place. I hope it's me, a brother here, who says he has lost 4 fridges, his wife shop, and then let's go pick up his water and say that will happen
Natalia, if you can hear me, I'd also wanted a confirmation on the number of those who have been injured. Does it still stand at 3? Well, some scenes from there, heart-wrenching scenes, I should say, back-to-back fires in Odona and now Sekondi as well. Very sad. Look at the billowing smoke, and that is people's property going right there. I would have wanted to find out from Natalia whether anything was salvaged, possibly, but it appears the line is not as clear as we would want it. But we're going to be bringing you, in our subsequent bulletins and shows, more information on that. The fire service still working to, quench those flames at the harbour, the Sam Bosomtwe harbour. Well, do stick around, stay with us. There's more coming your way on the AM show with Mama V Owusu Abwaje. And then of course, we have showbiz coming up as well. Stay tuned.
So wear makeup.
Minyami summono. Yem famra Bible wokai 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 11. Osoma foposi usano. Oya bofra baby wonyame mono. Na wodwene sa akora. Na afi de obenyini ye no wogu mofra de yo no. Enti Kristo sumno eyenyini etese school. Obia ba Kristo mo fofra. Ebi mo te se prophet ne obi oba Kristo mo fofra. Ne attitude no eye different from say all corner so ye na dwene so obesua de a nyame boa ne manesua. Na mabehu se Kristo mo no ade o se ogidi ni ubo ho modern se ubebo abrabo a ebe mu akọ heaven. Na me beti ase kane no na minim se utwi makeup a eye bone wo nkọ heaven. Wa moduku a eye bone wo nkọ heaven. Ana ye African for ye ade bi a me fa ne se Pentecostals no CAC ni ade ne drubre bi kura wo kwasora na ayi mampanifo ni gina gate. Wa moduku a ye ma wo nkọ. Na awurade adom ye koyenim no emsa me papa ex chairman awo Pentecost papa poku nyina obeka ho asem brebi ma ebi mu ana omo nte ase no e kan sem ba mia so me sua Bible no ana me hu se esa me bom moden wo de e bi sim heaven ho kwan na me be hu se utwi makeup a ensi heaven ho kwan ana wa amoduku a ensi heaven ho kwan Bible no so wa amoduku a ade ye no se wo se abofo nti na wo ko Bible no kura wo se emade wo de yetrinwi na maye se nkataso de nti na me kasa me behu se ese ye de saduku bono ene niam bi a akekere ye ho a nyame asem na nkasa ye ni so.
Okay. It is a course now different because one tia sia
awurade mama beti na dwuma na sese esa me babra bokonkron.
Okay. All right. And see, my enka and your maybe more SCC way Ghana, Nansemu, Waja, would dear, who follow issues.
Yeah.
And I won't shy away also of commenting. Say latest one year, Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu resigned. And now who didn't chide? Now who didn't send Special Prosecutor Jumano?
Oh, Sapa Pano. Maybe de me who say. Se see a idea why you know. Waha. In futures ayine beba no se me fa ne se emofra na wo mo esua se wo beye politics ana se wo bebam no waha wo mo anything yenyina nim se papa ne ye NDC ni na do nso ye obi a onyiyi ni pam ono de ne president no obedi de me hu ne se obi a wo betima aboa no amana ye adwuma no se wo ye NDC se wo ye CPP no ofa bam
na say ne obi be ka say wo ka say because why endorse no.
Oh,
because we MPP. Every crowd wo card, wo MPP card na.
Ni card. Because me who say obi okra asora ye we wo tight card nso ntua tight. Obi wo asora ye kono. We head that wa tight card nso ntua tight da. Enti so obi wo MPP card and just so MPP ni and obi wo NDC card and just so MPP
enti na me chere say papa na president na pen asem deda enti nya dia obeka bibi bone afa ne
enya bone no kre me pa me pen asem ne say ese wo nwene wono nko ade
Into what can say Martin resignation no ebe affect omo ebe appoint in the future.
Obi NDC ne bi opeso oboa MPP ni a. Obaka say oba nipa no wa pretend no oba kra de be hye nsa no onye. Ana so obi MPP ni MPP president nyame boa ne papa esa aba no wie ba de obeba no wie a. Obi sa be diso a ono nso bia na nka ndisi ni bi betima boa yemfa politics anase ndc MPP nto ebetima boa ma MPP no akoso ba de papa we ya yenti ono nso baka so
na ne ayaso ye de aye ne nsem na o ka on resignation letter na ne de mfa ho
me de me kan se wo kono wo hu se obefesi saa ne ma ne nyina wotemase enti no enka woko ye na wo face ni ntam so no na nka se wo firi ho na nya sai baka be 2 weeks e wonim de enti a wo yes a enti me de me kan se enya MPP asem na ndi se wa hanchirima.
Okay, yo ye de yanka ne enti a ye de ba he yanka adum praise ho asem na politics na how enyum to ne music career ne de me akasa no wahu de enti amasesei me ana me follow obi oye ade padwene nipa na me nye politician me nye politician ana se ye ka politics pa asori dem ene wo kese sir
e wo hosene
na sam sorry na nya bible na ya
ma me jai me awurade adom ada awurade de mi kokko pie US or the make 31 state. A sorry being wa waburuchire ana Ghana ha awurade mfa mi nwuram. Me ne me papa no masofofuo binum bebre hia. Na mi hunu se asori ankasa nyame asafo no church politics no e chen MPP ni NDC.
Ene ma yemfensi ha ye betoa so another time but you can't do praise because this year a virtual concerts and woo feature evangelist papa it's anyway and then your viewers what have me pa because join is in catch you
I know na chese nyame I know na chese urade ofre you know what say asomafo no osoma o mo say mokwa mamo nwune de mo beka na honhom na abeboa mo honhom na aboa me a amenne wa mo asesa wo brofo a me katwi na minim because some dwene say join news there join TV there me kwa mintimi nkasa ka me ha me ho
na so obey ukọ adom na wo se nka katwi no ukọ ka brofo
adom
ai
brofo be
na ukọ ka the battle is still a lot here
the bar the bar is still the loss.
Oh, me macho.
Then can sanam semestra was so brofo. Every nim setwi ya na me kan wa fra me. No mama be pia.
Me macho. And then omo mo hwe omo mo be hwe adrum praise. Obi e bi onye na adwen. E dey nti na wo say o tune in 7 p.m. adrum TV no hwe adrum praise.
Adrum praise me ma bi da. Say mo hwa me ma bi da bi nyame de bre na ya de enti gidi ni bia won to ne woni twen no onya ne nhira namnim se bre we ye bra onyame fa me so pese ne ma eye nhira na se wurade de me abeka ho nti obeya de foforo
amen say yemre na so
Yemena
yebesa kasa off air ne ye to social media in a bit, but I will see a signing off. Until we thank you all for watching our show.